All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to Sunday Night Charts with Jim of All Trades. Good to see you. Welcome to the channel. Let me see if I can get this off the screen. There we go. And let me see if I can get myself on the screen here. One more second. 3, 2, 1, and we're live. What's up, guys? All right, we're all moved to a new place here. Got a new background in here. This is my office. That's my kitchen in the background. We're gonna kind of got my desk in a central place in the house. Kind of interesting location, but it works. I like it. So hope you guys are well. My name's Jim. I'm a crypto trader. Welcome to Jim of All Trades Sunday Night Charts. I'm here to help you understand the market from an Elliott wave theory perspective. Guys, I'm an Elliott waver. What does that mean? There was a guy back in the early 1900s who named Elliott who saw the market through a lens of 5s and 3s. As he looked at the market, he saw patterns of 5s and 3s. He put them together and kind of had an idea where the market might be heading, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the market. We're going to see if we can see those 5s and 3s, put them together in known patterns, and figure out where the market might be heading. Guys, we are expanding the range. The range is expanding, so we're going to talk about what that means for trading. It's pretty awesome. It makes it an awesome time for trading. So if you're new to Elliott wave trading or Elliott wave theory, I'd love to invite you into my Discord. It's a great place to be, where you can learn all about Elliott wave theory and how we look at the market and how we think about trading from that perspective. It's not the only thing we do, but it's certainly part of what we do. So with that said, let me say hi to everybody that said hi to me. I'm sorry, I'm a little multitasking here. Let me say hi to everybody that said hi to me. Got Keith on a run. What's up, buddy? I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well. Breathe, man. Breathe. What's up, Eddie Bo? Good to see you, man. I'm doing well. Sorry I missed you guys last week. I just crazy times in my life. I've been in the middle of a move here, but I'm finally settling down. And, man, did I ever have a very tiring week last week. Oh, crazy. I worked a lot of hours and had a lot going on, but things are going to settle down here going forward. What's up, Ricky Spanish, my good friend? I hope you're well. Good to see you, man. And there's Durham, Leon. What's up, buddy? It's good to see you. We're ready for triangles. It's not a triangle. It's not a triangle. I love it. Crypto Fever, what's up, man? Hey, Jay. I am keeping well. I'm doing really well. I'm been working hard, keeping fit. My blood pressure's down. Everything's good. All right, guys, let me know the audio and video is good. If you can hear me and see me, everything's rocking, and we'll get started. So let me check the live stream here and just make sure we're good. Stream health looks excellent. There we go. Everything on my end looks fantastic. I'm streaming. I see myself. We're good to go. So, all right, we're going to jump in here and look at the market. Don't forget, none of this I say is financial advice. I'd never do that. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy here in the state of misery looking at the chart with you and showing you what I see. But don't mistake it for financial advice. Okay, everything's good, Durgam says. Awesome, appreciate you. What's up, S. Joe Coco? S. Joe Coco. What's up, man? Good to see you, dude. I hope you're well. All right, let's jump into the analysis here. All right, we're gonna zoom out just a little bit here, do a little high time frame analysis, and I'll show you what I'm seeing. What I'm looking at here, when I look at this wave structure here, we're looking at 5s. And basically there's 1, 2, there's 3, there's 4, and there's 5. And that's a completed structure. That's a completed 5-wave structure as far as I'm concerned. However, we did down here at this level have some hidden bullish divergence, which is currently playing out. And everything's happening just according to what we thought. I've been real bullish in this area. I was a screaming bull down here. I was yelling and screaming, bull, bull, bull. Knowing that we could possibly hit the low again. And to be honest with you, we are going to hit this low again. With almost without a doubt, we should hit this low again. It's nothing certain in any market, but generally speaking, we hit lows twice. I haven't seen a low that we've made where we haven't hit it a second time. So I'm looking to hit that thing a second time. Eventually, we're going to talk about what we might see to do that. But we're in a state of caution right now with Bitcoin. Why? Because we have a three-wave shape that I don't think is finished, but we have a three-wave shape, okay? And we've come to an area of resistance that's very, very important, okay? So we have come into this zone right here. This is my first zone of resistance, and we're in here, okay? Now, the question is, where are we going? We'll talk about that in just a bit. But we have 5 waves. Now, what we're looking for, if we zoom back out here, before I start talking about local waves here, I'm looking for 3 waves to the downside, okay? I'm looking for 3. So we have our first wave. I think we've made a bottom right here. So what is happening here? I think this is the beginning stages of 3 waves back to the upside, okay? Which, to be honest with you, this bullish wave that we're in, that might be getting ready to go sideways with a little bearishness over the summer, setting us up for a 3rd wave back to the upside down the road towards the end of 2026 into 2027. Okay, I'm looking for 3 waves back up, retracing this move. Then what do we get after that? Well, I'm looking for another move to the downside, a 3rd wave. And so we would expect some shape on the chart on the weekly, something like that, where prices retesting back down to here or in these zones, at least back down to this zone, okay? And then looking to go back to the upside. We have all kinds of targets and wave shapes that could be made here. But this is what we're looking for. This is the idea here. Now, this can get complex. In other words, it could get 3 waves and then it can double up and take a lot longer. That's totally possible as well. But if you look at the S&P chart, let me just show you the S&P chart, the SPX. You'll see it on the monthly. Right, we are currently, in my opinion, in making this wave right here, and we are currently in this zone right here, working our way back to the upside in 3, looking for it to hit again before you get long-term bullishness in Bitcoin. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in Bitcoin, guys. I'm expecting long-term bullishness as long as Bitcoin is going to be a part of the future, part of the finances of the future. And that's a big if, guys. It's a big if. We talk about that on this channel all the time. How Bitcoin as we know it may or may not be part of the future economy. But what I do know, what I can say with certainty, that it was the Trojan horse of the governing agencies to bring in a digital society. They had to create something out of thin air, and they call it Bitcoin. It was created out of thin air. It was value out of nothing, something that has no intrinsic value whatsoever, and they had to assign it value so that people can begin to have faith and trust in it, develop that faith and trust. And as faith and trust is developed in it, it can be used and created into a viable currency. Not as we know it, but can we say the backbone of a digital economy? That's basically what Bitcoin is. The technology behind Bitcoin and the blockchain technology is going to be the backbone and the nervous system of a digital economy of the future. And we are now in the embryo stages. Now, the embryo stages were the early days. Now we're in the middle stages of the zygote of a digital economy. In other words, we're baking a baby, baking a digital economy in the womb of this current global economic system. And they're doing this, and they're implementing, and stages are being gone through, and things are being done incrementally in order to usher in this digital society that they want to take us to. Guys, this is where they're taking us. So with that in mind, with that presupposition as the foundation of a lot of my personal thinking and understanding, I look at Bitcoin and say, either Bitcoin was just the Trojan horse to get us into thinking that digital assets can have some value when digital assets don't have any value intrinsically. They don't have historical value at all. They don't have any value whatsoever. When it's ones and zeros, guys. That's all it is. Yet you guys pay money for it. Why? Because you and I have been trained through the steps that have been taken globally by our leaders and the people who are bringing in this digital economy. They're training you to believe that digital assets have value. And to be honest with you, they do have value. Why? Because people are buying and selling it. Now, is that value stable? Is it as stable as, let's say, gold or silver? Is it going to be is it as time tested? No way. No way would I ever say Bitcoin is in the same camp as gold and silver. However, it does have value, even if that faith and hope is, the very fine thread that holds the whole Ponzi scheme together. So as long as that Ponzi scheme is up, I'll be making videos about it and talking about where I think Bitcoin's going. So either Bitcoin is part of that Trojan horse just to get us into a digital age, and they're going to transition us to something other than Bitcoin. But this is the first iteration of the technology that's going to fuel that digital economy. Okay, or Bitcoin is indeed the digital gold that is going to back that digital economy. It's going to be the thing that has it's going to be the gold of the economy. So that's what they're trying to make out of it. So if it does stay around, which again in my worldview, Anthony, that's right. That's right. Sorry, but my worldview says Bitcoin doesn't have to be part of the economy of the future. It very well could be, but I could envision a scenario in which Bitcoin dies off, as well as most of the crypto as you know it. In fact, I have been predicting for a while a crypto winter, as it were, where the marketplace of crypto will die off in general. All these S coins will die off, and money will be consolidated. And what's going to rise out of that is going to be the digital products and items that are going to fuel the future economy. Things like maybe XRP or XLM or Ethereum. Solana and Monero, for instance, for privacy and whatnot. So these things that are being set up for that economy, only things that have real use case are going to rise up out of that. So that's the foundational thinking as I look at this market from a geopolitical standpoint, that our world governments are creating a digital society. We're living through that creation. Bitcoin is part of that plan. I don't know what the full plan of Bitcoin is, but as long as it's here, with the way I'm going to look at this chart is I'm going to say, okay, I'm expecting it as long as it's here. I'm expecting price of Bitcoin to come to go to $1 million. Okay, $1 million eventually, right? It's going to go up like the S&P, but I believe that the current Bitcoin chart needs to do something like this before that. And that was my purpose of showing you the S&P chart. That's what we're living through. Okay? Right now we're in this stage of Bitcoin's price action. Okay? So S&P had an impulse wave, a 3-wave pullback, and then the impulse continued. Okay? So Bitcoin, same thing. We've had an impulse wave. This is called a leading diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Leading diagonal. We need a correction. I think the first leg of that correction came down to the 200 weekly moving average, perfect spot. And now we're bouncing off this zone. Now, I don't think we're going up forever. I think we're just going to retrace here in 3 waves. okay, and looking for another leg to the downside. And so for the next 3 years or so, well, for the next couple of years, I'm fairly bullish, even though it's going to be waving, right? But I've been really bullish in my Discord. I've been talking to them. I've been talking to them about, hey, I'm still bullish, right? But now I'm cautiously bullish because we're coming to an area of resistance, but I still see 95K as a real possibility. So we'll talk about that momentarily. So anyway, this is my very large time frame concept. And this concept is backed by all the presuppositions that I just shared with you, okay? That we are in a reaccumulation zone of Bitcoin, getting ready for the pump of a lifetime. And you need to make sure that this is the area that you are accumulating Bitcoin for the long haul. If you're trading it with leverage, you don't need to be accumulating anything. You need to be in and out of your positions. But this is the accumulation phase, okay? Now, we're not quite ready to go all in. I'm looking for 3 waves, okay? All right, so there's the macro analysis. That's what we're looking for. Now, with that said, with that overview, let's go into the micro analysis and start in the 4-hour here in the daily and just say, okay, what do we got? Okay, so let's start at the daily, then we'll work our way back. The best I can tell here is that we have 3 down, 3 up, 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that is an ugly shaped expanded flat. And that's the A wave. That's wave A or wave W of a 3-wave correction that could be labeled ABC or WXY. Okay? Now, with that's the A wave. Now we're in the B wave. Okay? I believe the A wave is finished. I got a complete count. I think it's done. I think this is the first wave. This is the first session to the upside. Okay? Is that complete? We'll talk about it. Let me just talk about the general expectation here. This wave to the upside could be as part of a 3-wave move. Okay? That's going to take quite a bit of time to play out. Okay? We'll talk about the different shapes it can make as it goes. All right? Right now, we're coming into an area of real resistance, okay? You'll notice that when Bitcoin broke this out to the downside, it kept going down and down and down and down and down, right? Now what? Generally speaking, we're going to get 3 waves back to the upside, back to the bottom of this area. And it's going to look like probably it's going to roll over and go back down for another low. And it totally could do that, okay? Could totally do that. My eyes are so bad. My eyes are screaming right now. Sorry, excuse me. It could totally make that shape. But the question is this 3-wave done? It could be. We've already reached target. So let's zoom in on the 4-hour and talk about, I didn't finish what I was saying on the daily. So what I think here is that this is the beginning stages of a 3-wave move back to the upside. Now that 3-wave move could be simple or complex, okay? So if it's simple, it's going to look like I just drew it just now. So it's just going to be something like this, okay? It could come up here and then come down, but it's going to be a general 3-wave shape just like that. Something like that's simple. If it wants to get complex, then that means what this is the first wave of a complex wave. So you have 3 waves here. You could get 3 waves back down. That 3 waves could take the low, and then you could come up and take the high, and that would be a flat correction. And that would be a nice B wave so you got 3 here, and then you got 3 here, which could come back and take the high if it wants to. That would be fine and dandy. Then what? Then we'd be looking for 5 to the downside. Fast and furious. Okay? If something like that happened, then all of a sudden we're looking at something very quick. We're not looking at something taking forever, but that would be very, very, very quick in time frame. And mid-2027, we'd be looking for a bottom somewhere. Okay? Now, what else could be happening? Well, again, on the daily chart, I'll get on the 4-hour here shortly, okay? But on the daily, this could get more complex. This could just be the A wave of something, of a B and a C. And right there, that 3-wave move becomes a W wave. 3 waves back down, there's your X wave. And then you get 3 waves back up, and that's Y. And all that would be is a complex 3-wave move retracing this move to the downside. Excuse me. My eyes are just killing me right now. I can't see. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay. I may have to cut this one short tonight. I may just go for an hour and call it a night, guys. I'm pretty tired for sure. I've had a real, but anyway, those are the ideas that I'm working with from an Elliott waiver. I'm looking for 3 waves, whether simple or complex or expanded, right? So 3, 3, 5, that's expanded, okay? Simple would be 3, 3, 3. That's a simple correction. Then we'd expect down. And then complex would be 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 5. That's expanded. Complex expanded. Or 3, 3, 3. Oh, sorry. Let me try that again. 3 and then something like that. And what you'll notice if we got something like that, look at this range. Look at what price does. Price stays in this little range here for a year. For that's 8 months or 6 months to a year of price action right in that range. But all of that could be a complex 3-wave correction of this move. That takes the next year to develop. So you got to be able to learn, you got to be able to trade within that environment if you want to trade this. Okay? I don't think, however, it's appropriate to think that Bitcoin is just going to the moon here. All right, so that's simple. That's complex of what I'm looking at in the macro. Let's get on the 4-hour and say, okay, what do we have then? What is going on the chart? Well, let's first off mark our levels, okay? Say, Jim, what do you mean marked levels? Well, we're going to mark where the support and resistance is, okay? I want you to note something, just the way price moves, okay? When you have a breakout, for instance, right there, price came down, hit the bottom of that wave right there. You had a diagonal trend line. It hit it. You had a reaction back to the upside. They came back, took that low, created divergence. Then back up to where the breakout was. Boom. Back to those levels. Broke this level, back up to the breakout. Broke this level. We just now returned. No, I'm sorry. That's incorrect. This came back in 3 waves, back up to the breakout. Now what? That's the standard price action where you got a breakout. Oh, come on. You got a breakout. Boom. Now we got price action back up to the breakout. Now what? Now what? Well, it could play around up here. It could even break. But notice in the process, it's broken out. It's broken out to the upside as well. So now we have a breakout to the upside. That's bullish for now. Which is why I believe we've bottomed here. That doesn't mean we can't revisit that price It just means structurally this wave was this was the end of this move. Now I think we're in a move to the upside. Straight up from here, no. If you're not long from down here, you don't have an entry. Okay, now 4-hour chart. Let's mark levels. Here's our first level. Okay, then we're going to go up and look at the bottom of these, that wave there and that wave there, and then we're going to mark this level. Okay, then where's the next level? See the tops of these waves right here? Top of that wave. That's an important level. Let me turn off this light right here. That is better. Oh, that is so much better. Can you still see me in the camera? Let's check it out. Yeah, it looks okay, I suppose. It's dark, but that is better. Thank you for that. My eyes are just burning. All right, so we got the tops of these waves right there, tops of that wave, and so that gives us that level right there. And then the final levels here are going to be the tops of these waves right here. All right, so these are the levels of interest for the end of this wave. Once I mark levels, the second thing I like to do when I'm analyzing a chart is I like to pull the fibs. Again, if you want to learn how to pull fibs and how to do Fibonacci analysis, feel free to jump in the Discord. I'll teach you how to do it. But where we overlap, right now we're sitting at the 127 and the 1414 zone. So that's a perfect bounce zone, which, you know, we got a little bit of a bounce here. But so what's happening? Is this going to rock down right here and then roll up, or is this going to kind of keep going up? Either way, I'm still looking for more up right now. I believe. It doesn't mean it has to go up. I just think it's a strong possibility. Okay, look at the 618, the 1618 extension. Okay, that's right up here. Notice how that correlates, that 1618 correlates with the bottom of these waves, with the level I marked. Notice how these fibs line up with the levels. It happens all the time. Okay, you got the 2.38 and the 2618. The 2618 is right up here at the top of that wave. So interesting. Let me show you some more levels here, pulling the fibs a different way. We're going to pull from the top of there to the bottom of there. Let's see if I got it. I did. Where do those fibs line up? Notice this is the golden zone, this area of confluence right between my first two levels. Notice the 1618 extension correlates with the top of the golden zone. 85K, guys, is an important level. 85K. Are we going to reach 85K? I can't tell you. Yes, I think eventually we're going to reach 85K. But are we going there in this wave? I can't tell you that. I'll offer some ideas here shortly. The 786 retrace correlates with this level that I've drawn, the tops of these waves. Okay. Notice the oh, never mind on that last sentence. Okay, let's pull the fibs one more way. Let's pull the retrace from the very top. Notice that the golden zone retrace of this first wave is at the top, right above that wave. Guys, none of this is by accident. This is all common wave structure. So, without doing any wave counts, those are the levels, and that's what I'm expecting. So, price action can really come into this zone any way it wants to. Now, what we do as Elliott wavers is we take those zones and we're like, okay, with those zones marked. Now, what is the wave structure? What's the wave count? And is there anything in the wave that kind of tells us? Okay, we look at volume as well, and you'll notice we got a major, on this down move, we had a major volume spike. This is a major volume node here. So the fact that we're getting a bounce here makes sense. One of the things I look for to say, okay, as a wave goes up, does it give the look of being finished? And when I look at this wave right here, I say no. It does not look, it does not have the look like it's finished. What does a finished look like? Well, generally, Bitcoin, as it's going up, it likes to spike up, okay, straight up. So that's the kind of look I would like to see. I would love for this to spike up here fairly quickly and come take out some liquidity. Then I would say, okay, now we have a real possibility for a finished three-wave move. Okay, let's talk about the wave structure here. How am I reading this? My best guess here, my best guess is that this is an A, boom, right there. This is B to there. So that's three waves, and then this is C. And because C didn't break the origin of A, or where A was, okay, that means it's a running flat as a B wave or an X wave. Okay, it's a B wave as far as I'm concerned. So that means this is A, all that's B. What do we got? We got C. Could C be done? Yes, it could be done. It's fulfilled all its requirements. We got five-wave shape. 1, 2. 3, 4, 5. So that's a real possibility. Or this 5 could get extended and it come way up here, which is what I would like to see. I'd like to see a stop hunt for anybody trying to go short through here. Okay, stop hunt for that, and then price to kind of zoom up here over the next day or two. That would be ideal for me. I would love that. If we get an extended fifth wave. Now, could it be done? Yes. If it's done, then you have a finished three waves. A, B, C could be done. And now what's happening, we're in the beginning stages of a three-wave move to the downside. Boom, boom, boom. That's what this is. It's beginning to take us down, potentially. So that's a possibility. So that's the bearish look. But the title of the video is the expansion, Bitcoin's range expansion. What to expect, right? What does that mean for traders? Well, basically, the way price likes to move is it'll range and then expand that range, and then it'll take out those levels. So it created a range here. Now it's taken out the top. I would expect at some point, the question is, are we going to take out this top or come back up into this range before down? But this range right here, this low, is going to get taken out eventually. I'm expecting price action to hit this level and to hit this level. Now, I don't know which one's going to happen first, because either one could happen. But price will be revisiting this area and this area. Why? Because that's the way price moves. Okay, it creates a range, It expands that range, and then it takes out that range. And it's rinse and repeat on every time frame. I could show you example after example on every time frame. Okay? But there are trapped traders right up in here who were looking to go long in here. And they held that, and they're still holding, waiting for this to come back up. So they can't release those. They're bringing price back up to any trapped traders that are up here. Okay? But they can't come and release them fully. So I imagine they're going to come up here. Boom. And you're going to get some fake movement to the downside. Or it's going to reject so that traders aren't allowed to be released. Otherwise, you might get a small rejection and then another hit very quick. That rejection will discourage anybody trapped because they're excited. The way the psychology works for me whenever I'm trapped is, okay, good, price is coming back to me. And so if I'm trapped in a position and price is coming back to me, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, when price gets to me, I'll close that out, right? And a lot of times it'll just come tag a position I was trapped in, and then go. So that psychology of liquidity there. Liquidity is made up of people that are transacting. And the people that transact on the crypto market, many of them are traders, okay? And they're looking for positions, right? And so they're like you and me. Well, we're trading. And in the process, that the price action has to trap you in locales and locations on the chart based upon the price action. Traps you in your position, and if you're not disciplined to take a loss, then you'll get trapped and you'll increase your losses. Okay, but nevertheless, there are people who were looking for this to go on up, and they were long from this area. Well, price went down, took them out fast, and then it's been threatening up, but it's not been going up straight. It's been going up in a very choppy fashion, very corrective. However, now they're coming back up to where traders might be trapped. If they're coming back into the zone, chances are those people are not going to be freed. They're not going to be allowed out. You're going to get a massive rejection from that zone. When that rejection happens, the psychology is, oh crap. And you'll do one of two things. You'll continue holding, or you'll then take the loss thinking, oh, I messed up. So it just depends on what psychology is. But that psychology there is creating liquidity. And that liquidity is what this chart is doing, is going for. So from a liquidity standpoint then, from that kind of standpoint, I'm expecting price to come in here strongly. Okay? And reject. Now, however, if it breaks into this area, I expect the break into that area will be followed by something a little bit more hard rejection to the downside. So if price comes into here, okay, I would expect a harder rejection. Okay, why? Because the trap needs to be set. This needs to be building a long trap. Okay? All right, so what's going on in here? One of two things. One of three things. Got a correction, three-wave correction, going up again. It's possible. Or this is going to continue going up and finish this thing. Where's it going to go? They could take it really fast up to here and reject. Really fast, reject. more likely, they're going to come into this zone right here. $88K range. And reject off of that. Going to come into the range and reject. That rejection can take a million different shapes, which I've talked about a little bit already, but it can be simple or complex. That would be 3, 3, looking for 3 to the upside. In general, I'm bullish with a bearish wave in the middle. And I'm cautious in this zone right here that this is coming back down. That's the range expansion I'm talking about. All right, I've done all the talking tonight. What say you guys? What are y'all thinking? Are y'all feeling bullish? Feeling bearish? How are you feeling? Let me take a little sip here. Then we'll do some analysis with Ethereum and XRP. We'll look at the silver chart and gold and see where they're going. And then we'll look at the S&P and then call it a night. All right. Looking at Ethereum. Ethereum hasn't got up. Why I'm still bullish. One of the reasons I'm still bullish in Bitcoin is because Ethereum hasn't finished. And these things always move together. Okay. So yeah, Ethereum needs to make its way up here. Bitcoin's already reached this level, but Ethereum hasn't. I'd like to see Ethereum get up here into these zones. At least to this zone right here. So looking for a spike. But then I'm looking for rejection after that. That's going to be 3 waves. So looking for Ethereum to pop to the upside. That's the way I'm seeing that. Let's zoom out just a little bit. That looks really good. That shape right there. It looks decent. The way I'm reading this wave, 3, 3, 5. A, B, C. Now, let's talk about a bearish count. A bearish count says, hey, boom, boom. Something like that. Think that's coming before we get an up move? Maybe. I don't know though. I don't know. I just feel like we need to come and tag this zone at least. So I'd like to see Ethereum hit 2,600. Let's look at XRP. XRP is a little bit different. The chart's different. Notice this breakout line that I've drawn here. We're threatening a breakout. Boom. 3 waves. And then looking for this to come up to this zone. And then down. 4-hour chart. Really nice 4-hour breakout candle there. This looks really good. I would just like to see this have some follow through. So is this going to play around in here tonight? Very well could. So do we get some bearishness over the next couple of days? Very well could. That would reset the RSI. So I am bullish again in the immediate term for XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin. Looking to see a pump up into the retrace area to take out the levels they previously should have hit, and then I'm looking for rejection, and that could mean that rejection really hits this low. All right, guys, there's the analysis for XRP. This shape looks really good. It's my main idea. I'd like to see that play out. Is it going to play out? I can't say. I can't say with any certainty, but this is my main idea from wave structure. How we doing? How we doing? All right, let's look at silver. Silver, I love. We got a bit of a breakout in silver. Breaking some structure here. I like it right there. That's a good sign right there. I think we could have a finished three-wave shape. Boom, boom, boom. A little bit of a truncated C or Y wave, however you want to look at that. But that looks done. And this could be so. Let's see if we get some follow through. We might get some immediate pullbacks here, but looking for some follow through here to the upside. At the end of the day, guys, on silver, I'm expecting silver to hit 200 easily. Easily. Okay. So let's take a peek at the S&P chart. S&P is bullish, man. It just won't stop, will it? S&P is really hard to nail down because we don't have a finished wave structure that's pretty, but we do have some divergence. Of course, the divergence here has been taken out. There's local divergence here. Now, this is the monthly chart. Let's check the weekly. Let's see, 7,500 is a nice round number. 8,000 is a nice number as well. Wouldn't put it past an S&P pump and then a dump, a rejection off of a top. Coming into the summertime, so things are going to slow down a little bit. DXY's got a bit bearish right now. All right, looking at the DXY, this looks like a flat. Boom, local flat. Let's come down and take the low. Take that low. We might get a pump up after that. So if we get a little bit bearish, let all the markets go up and take those highs that like we're talking about. And then the dollar starts pumping again. That would be interesting. All right, guys. What other charts are we looking at? I'm pretty much exhausted my small time frame ideas. Guys, thanks for being patient with me last week. Sorry I didn't do Sunday night charts, but I'm back and everything's settling down. So hopefully next week I can get some coffee and and be a little bit more rested, and we can go again. But there's Sunday night charts for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for being here. I'm going to call it a night. I'm pretty tired. My eyes are burning tonight for some reason. I'm having a hard time. So anyway, thanks for joining me, guys, and watch out. I'm bullish. Jim's still bullish, but looking in this level for a short to take place. So I'm looking to take some shorts here soon, but I'm still bullish. I'm still in my XRP long for now, and I want to see if this plays out where I think it's going. I hope you guys have a great one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.